The Arizona Cardinals have now informed Kyler Murray that he will be released from the team. And we just had the NFL franchise tag deadline hit not too long ago. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it all down right after this.
Welcome to your number one spot for all NFL news and content, NFL Central.
What's going on, NFL fans? Welcome back into another episode of NFL Central, your number one spot for everything NFL. I'm your host here, Bobby, and I'm bringing you the latest as we just had that franchise tag deadline hit about 15 minutes ago. But first, before we talk about the guys that were tagged and not tagged, we will talk about the breaking news regarding Kyler Murray. The Arizona Cardinals have informed him that if they do not find a trade partner for him next week, they will be releasing him. And throughout his time with the Arizona Cardinals, it was a bit up and down, but the accolades speak for itself when you think about it. With Kyler Murray being the first number one overall pick, winning Rookie of the Year, two-time Pro Bowl, and 87 starts, had over 20,000 passing yards, over 3,100 rushing yards, 121 passing touchdowns, 32 rushing touchdowns, and 60 interceptions. These guys right now, we know that the Arizona Cardinals just hired their new head coach and Mike LaFleur. And I will say it's a good idea for both sides to go out there and now depart ways and move on. I think the Arizona Cardinals, they have ran its course with Kyler Murray, first Cliff Kingsbury, and then last year, Rich Gannon. And hey, you got to go out there and try something new. Kyler Murray, he has failed to stay healthy. It is not to say that he's not a talented guy. Kyler Murray is really, really talented as a quarterback, but you can't stay healthy. These guys have made a lot of moves to bring in different coaches for you. They brought in a lot of talent for you. The offense was humming. Well, you had pieces available to you offensively, and they just couldn't get going last season. To be honest with you, if you watch a couple Arizona Cardinals game last year, Jacoby Brissett looked much better as the starting quarterback than Kyler Murray. And I think that right now, with him making so much money over the next two seasons, you might as well go ahead and cut your losses now. I think that we're hearing certain things when it comes to Kyler Murray that say, hey, the Minnesota Vikings might be interested in you. The New York Jets might be interested in you. And this, wherever you decide to go, I think that he should take a chance on the Minnesota Vikings. I think that'll be a way to go and work with a really, really good head coach in Kevin O'Connell. Will be something for the rest of the division, not going to lie, especially with the talent that he is going to walk into. But it'll be good for Kyler Murray per se, in my personal opinion. I think that it'll be a good fit for him. You don't necessarily know how things will work out or what the Pittsburgh Steelers are thinking. I think that could be a valuable option for Kyler Murray. But the Pittsburgh Steelers look like they still want to hang their hat on Aaron Rodgers. Hey, but if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers, instead of buying yourself a 1-year rental, you can go over there and play for Mike McCarthy and get you a coach. Hopefully, they can build some things up for you offensively. And we know that they are really good at drafting defensive players over there in Pittsburgh. And honestly, Aaron Rodgers makes more sense for the Minnesota Vikings, at least in this juncture, when you consider, hey, he's more than likely only going to play one season. You can buy a little bit more time to see if JJ McCarthy is really like that, or you can go out there and add on in your quarterback room and add another guy that can sit behind Aaron Rodgers, buy him that 1 year, allow him to go out to play, and then you just see what happens after that. But we understand that JJ McCarthy needs more time to develop. We understand that Kyler Murray needs a new home, and we shall see where these guys are going to end up. Personally, I think that he should go at least try to entertain the Minnesota Vikings and stay away from the New York Jets, even though I think the New York Jets got some pieces offensively, but they have so much work to do. Their coaching staff is not proven. They just overhauled the damn coaching staff after one season. So I think a lot of people are going to stay away from the New York Jets. But hey, let me know how you guys are feeling about the whole Kyler Murray stuff. And we'll see where he ends up. But it looks like, if I don't, me personally, I don't see anybody trading for him. So I think that he's going to be released and they're going to eat the cap space. That's the Arizona Cardinals, that is. And then we'll see where he goes from there. But yeah, man, we know that the franchise tag just happened not too long ago. And the deadline, franchise tag deadline, just happened not too long ago. And there's a number of players that did not receive a franchise tag that were a bit surprising. And there are some guys that received either a franchise tag or a transition tag that kind of makes sense or a little bit shaky in a way. Two guys that did not receive a franchise tag from their respective teams is number one, Kenneth Walker, running back who just won the Super Bowl MVP, and then edge rusher Trey Hendrickson from the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, let's start off with talking about Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker, the guy just won you a Super Bowl and helped you win a Super Bowl. And for him not to be at least franchise tagged or anything right now, it seems like it's a bit crazy. But on the flip side, you got to understand the financial space that the Seattle Seahawks are currently sitting in. They have to go out there and strike a deal while the iron is hot with Witherspoon, the good cornerback over there. You have to go out there and pay Jackson Smith and Jigba. So it's a bit understandable. I seen some comments from some people and say, man, they're hung up on Zach Charbonnet. I don't think that's the case. I think that they have so much money that they have to allocate to the other two players previously mentioned. You ain't finna cough up a big contract for a running back. That's just my opinion. Especially when Jackson Smith and Jigba is expected to be the highest paid wide receiver, which will be over $40 million, which Jamar Chase has been getting paid. And yeah, I just don't see it happening when you go out there. You want to have the highest paid wide receiver and the highest paid cornerback in Witherspoon. So it's one of those things that is up, but they have a lot of pieces in place to where they can really lean on their draft capital to try to find another replacement at running back for their respective team. I got you in a second, B Bill. Just give me 1 second with your question. And the next guy, we got Trey Hendrickson. He did not receive a franchise tag, and I'm happy that he did not receive a franchise tag. This just speaks to the stupidity of the Cincinnati Bengals team, in my personal opinion, because he has no value right now, so you couldn't franchise tag him. You couldn't, because nobody was going to trade for him, especially coming off a season where he was injured and based on what the number was as a edge rusher, because the franchise tag is based on the top 10 guys in at their respective positions. So that would have been a hefty price to pay for trading for a guy that's coming off an injury. It makes no sense why the Cincinnati Bengals didn't strike gold last year to get additional draft capital while Trey Hendrickson's value was at its peak. They did what the Cincinnati Bengals do dumb stuff with no foresight. So I'm happy for Trey Hendrickson. He's saying his goodbyes, and I'm happy for him. Maybe he ends up in a place like Buffalo. Maybe that'll be a good place for him. At least he's going to play with a really good offense and be able to hopefully help out a really good defense. That's just one name that's thrown out there. Trey Hendrickson name has been linked to guys or teams like the Chicago Bears, my team. We'll see what happens with that, but I'm not too confident in that, considering the Chicago Bears starting center just retired. We're going to talk a little bit more about that as well. But it is being reported when it comes to Kenneth Walker that one team that's really interested in him is the New York Giants, which kind of makes sense. But I'm interested to see what's their logic behind that, because I look at Scatterboot and Kenneth Walker, not exactly the same, but there are a lot more similarities, in my opinion, than differences. And I think that if you want to have a two running back room, a running back by committee type of thing, you got to have two guys that could bring something a little bit different. But hey, another guy that was franchise tagged by his team was Breece Hall. He received a non-exclusive tag, which will pay him, if he plays on this tag this upcoming season, it'll pay him $14 million for just the one season. They did not use the transition tag on Breece Hall, simply because if somebody would have to submit an offer, they will have to match it, or I believe the league rule is that if they don't match it, that team that put in an offer has to give up draft compensation. Nobody's going to do that. In fact, transition tags have only been done twice within like the last 20 or so years or something like that, maybe even longer. And the next guy that we're going to talk about is one of the guys that's just received a transition tag in recent memory, and that is Daniel Jones. The Indianapolis Colts placed a transition tag on quarterback Daniel Jones, and that's going to pay him $37 million. Look, I understand that market value is market value, but damn, did we not watch him out of the bye week for the Indianapolis Colts just crap his pants? And coming off that injury, y'all didn't. I guess it's not my money. I guess it just don't make sense to me. It don't make sense how Daniel Jones, he keep getting paid. This is the next Kirk Cousins. Daniel Jones is the next Kirk Cousins. No matter what he do, gonna get paid, because this is a league that is very, very dependent on quarterback play. And when it's like that, guys that should not be getting these crazy contracts are going to get the crazy contracts. Nobody is going to put an offer to get him on this transition tag to up the ante to 38, 40 million. I just don't see it. I can be wrong, but right now, as it currently stands, I just don't see Daniel Jones being a guy that's going to be up and have somebody place an offer in on him, considering how bad he looked coming out of the Indianapolis Colts bye week, and he's coming off a bad injury. We just seen an Achilles injury and what that did to Aaron Rodgers when he first came out. You know what I'm saying? And then the second time, well, I believe it was around the same time, Kirk Cousins had the same Achilles in Atlanta, and he ain't look good. So we expected him to come out here and look good, and he was flustered before he even snapped the Achilles. I don't know. Indianapolis, hey, the owner, look, lady, you're not an ugly woman. We appreciate you for walking up inside the walking up and down the sideline, but your GM is tweaking. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Not even gonna lie to you. But where else could they turn to with a thin market with quarterbacks? You don't trust Anthony Richardson. It looks like they want to move off of him potentially. And there's questions about the draft class, which you still should be taking a chance on a quarterback in this draft class. So maybe this is something that buys you a year. Maybe. But how are you going to continue to run your franchise into the ground with so much talent on the team? They have so much talent on this team. Crazy work. And mentioning the Indianapolis Colts just really quick here, them giving Daniel Jones that transition cap money is now going to have them having to move off of a wide receiver in Michael Pittman, who I believe is really good, because they're now, it's being reported that they want to switch their focus to guys like Alec Pierce, who's a younger guy. It's understandable, but I just don't get it. I don't know. Last player we're going to talk about before we get into the other things is George Pickens. George Pickens has been franchise tagged by the Cowboys. We expected this. We expect that this is going to be a long, dragged out Jerry Jones. Oh, we ain't going to sign him yet. And then right at the end of training camp, George Pickens will receive an extension. At least in my opinion, this is how all Jerry Jones contract situations go. But he's expected to make $27.2 million. That's a little bit above that. And I think that's fair value. I'm not even going to lie to you. For a guy like George Pickens, that's fair value. Me, if you start creeping up to over 30, maybe you go up to 30. But once you start going over 30, for me, what I have so many character questions on George Pickens, I don't know. Because it was reported, and just rumors that was out there at certain points throughout the season, that George Pickens was being a knucklehead because the Cowboys didn't want to talk contract extension when he wanted to. And that's why in a certain game, when CD Lamb goes down later in the season, he went out there and was lethargic. So 27 million is the value. I'll play hardball with 30. He don't want to play. He don't want to play. That's just how I will play it. But I'm just a YouTube GM. That's what I call myself. These guys make the money. These guys make the decision. I expect Jerry Jones to drag this whole thing out and pay him right before the start of the season. And in other news, the Chicago Bears. Yeah, y'all know who I root for. My Chicago Bears, man. They starting center Drew Dalman has retired from football at the age of 27 years old. Crazy work. And then we got my man B Bill up in here. He asking who is available. There's a center out of the Washington Commanders who the Chicago Bears are planning to work out. Tyler Biadasz. There's Tyler Linderbaum from the Baltimore Ravens who's also available. And I don't know what the price tag gonna be, but they have this market value at approximately $20 million per season. You get a little bit of money with Drew Dalman. You get about $10 million back from Drew Dalman retiring. You only eat $4 million of dead money on that situation. Can you work something in with that? Can you go, hey, we'll give you the 14 and then you break up. Let's say they do a 2-3 year contract and then you do 18 million in guaranteed money. I don't know. Yeah, if he really wants to come to Chicago, that's Tyler Linderbaum. We'll see. So for the sake of Biadasz, I know Tyler Linderbaum is still young. He's a younger guy. Let me find that answer for you. I'm going to find that answer for you. He's only 28 years old. Tyler Biadasz, I believe is his name. He played with the Washington Commanders last year, was in that top 15 when it comes to ranked centers throughout the NFL. And we know that Linderbaum is definitely one of the best ones in the league at just 25 years old. I have not seen anything that says that the Baltimore Ravens are not trying to bring him back, but their priority right now in Baltimore is obviously Lamar Jackson and trying to extend him because the owner, when they brought on the new coach over there and Jesse Minter, they said they want to get the deal done with Lamar Jackson right away so they can open up and have a clear vision of how they want to utilize their cap. But if you pay Lamar Jackson upwards of $65 million a year, you ain't going to have much money. So Tyler Linderbaum, where do you want to play? That's all I want to know. And that's me being a homer. I try to be objective as much as I can, but when it comes to my team and I just got punched in the gut, I got to go out there and rock with you on that, B-Bill. I would love to have Tyler Linderbaum in the building. It's a young guy, 25 years old. You're going to have some sustainability there, and he should be a key piece for the Chicago Bears, you know what I'm saying, considering how young he is. And the Bears are being, according to Albert Breer, the Chicago Bears have made calls on his availability, and there's some other rumblings too surrounding the Chicago Bears when they pretty much saying that, hey, they were looking at centers and things during the draft. So this news that just hit us all in the face, it appears that the Chicago Bears were a little bit more prepared, and they kind of already knew that the news was going to be announced. We got the league officially starting next week. Legal tampering, that free agent legal tampering starts next week on March 9th. The official free agency begins March 11th. So we're going to hear about a lot of deals being made. Nothing will be official until March 11th, but March 9th, guys can start agreeing to things, and the deals will be official on March 11th. So it's going to be an interesting time, busy time, fun time. We're going to see if guys get traded like Max Crosby. We're going to see where Trey Hendrickson go. We're going to see what happens with guys like Kenneth Walker. We're going to see what other moves are going to be made because there are pass rushers that's going to be available. Khalil Mack is going to be one of them. There's going to be offensive linemen. They're going to be available looking for new homes. The Browns just released one of their younger offensive linemen. It's going to be in David Njoku. It's already announced he's not returning to Cleveland as well. Marshawn Lattimore has been released from the Redskins. Commanders. From the Commanders. But yeah, it's a lot of different things that are going to transpire over the next few weeks. And it's going to be fun, man, to see how these GMs operate and how these teams move. Because this is why we love these times of the year, man. So these guys can go out there and position themselves to see if they can sustain some of their success that they had the previous year, or if a team that was worse than their division can end up close to first. That shit happens all the time. It happens all the time in the NFL. That's what makes the product so great, because your team in one season can just go from being bad, spend some money, make some correct draft selection. You could be humming again, man. So, hey. He said, glad to hear the franchise moving differently compared to other seasons. Yeah, man. Guys got moves to make. So, but hey, we're gonna see where it all goes, where it all ends for each and every team, man. I'm interested in a lot of teams, to be honest with you. I'm interested in my team, of course. Interested in Honestly, I'm interested in the Baltimore Ravens. What do they do with Jesse Minter? That's a new coach over there. Interested in the Miami Dolphins, how they released a bunch of guys and how they're going to pivot and do things differently. Looking at this situation with the Arizona Cardinals, how crazy is it about to get for a quarterback like Malik Willis? That's a free agent, so teams can bid for him. And he only started, I believe, 6 games, if that. I think he started more than 6 games. I think it's 6 games with the Packers, but I don't even think he started with Tennessee. But how much value are these teams going to put into Malik Willis with limited starts? That's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how Kevin Stefanski does in Atlanta. Will he trade for Dylan Gabriel? It's going to be fun, man. I'm interested in this. I'm interested in a lot of stuff. And of course, man, me and myself and Steve-O, we going to definitely be right here kicking it, talking it, breaking the news down, and just keep it going, man. But hey, that is it for me, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode, man. Do us a solid. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification bell, man. And if you find somebody that's into the NFL stuff like that, like you are here right now watching, go ahead and share this video for your dog. But hey, man, that is it for me. Until next time, man, I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace.
This has been a presentation